our final project, Casey and I are mobilizing against the usage of the term no homo in rap music. So we went around Washington Square Park, Union Square, and around West 12th, West 11th in this area, kind of asking people what they think about the term, why it's an issue, who it offends, and at the end of the interview we encourage people to, every time they hear the term, kind of like negate it and tell them that it's an offensive and hurtful thing to say. Enjoy our video.
No homo. I say he's so sweet.
Casually.
I think it's indoctrinated with things.
Do you have any gay or lesbian friends?
I do actually. I'm actually in a program I'm in Tisch School for the Arts for Drama.
Oh great, what department?
I'm in the drama. I'm actually in the musical theater department, actually, to be honest with you.
Oh great, my best friend is in photo.
Oh cool. In Tisch?
Yeah, Tisch.
Do I look at you?
I don't know, I'm looking at both, so it's okay.
Okay, so basically, so I do have a lot of...
Okay, gay and lesbian friends.
I have a lot of gay friends. I was just in a show, ironically, that merged hip-hop and homosexuality.
No way, can you elaborate?
So yeah, it was called The Seven.
Okay.
It's a hip-hop musical, and what the author of it did was he took the story of Seven Against Thebes, the Greek tragedy written by Aeschylus, and he merged it into a hip-hop time and then created the character of Polynices as being homosexual, and that's the reason why he didn't want to sort of take over Thebes. Now, you would have to know the story to really understand
Right,
it.
yeah, no, I'm somewhat familiar with the story. That sounds really interesting.
But it was a really interesting show, and I have a lot of gay friends. I mean, most of my peers are gay, most of my mentors and teachers are actually gay. And so that's the answer to that question.
Do you think that the usage of no homo is offensive and hurtful?
I see it as a symbol. I see it as symbolism, so I don't see the word as sort of like overtly trying to criticize somebody or trying to sort of hurt or offend people, but I understand that that symbolism probably paves the way for a lot of sort of homophobia. So I think if we took it out of sort of the lingo that we use in hip-hop, I think it would be beneficial. I think it would be more inclusive to a wide range of people. But there are people who sort of flip that usage of the word and they sort of flip it on its head and use it against the people who are sort of overtly homophobic. But I think it's really complicated, and I think it's not so much correlated with hip-hop in general. I think it's more correlated with the people who bring themselves to hip-hop.
Yes.
So I think the way to sort of eliminate that word usage starts at a much earlier age, and it's a cultural thing. And so I don't think that people who do it are trying to hurt people, but I do think eventually the result of it is very divisive, and it creates a me versus them mentality. And I think it excludes a lot of people from who actually like music a lot.
In the areas where it's just like the infrastructure is poor, it's sketchy, there's a very competitive and like dangerous environment. People grow up, not wanting to leave any openings, and so there's something about, and this is like very related to hip hop culture, only because hip hop culture came from slums, so it's like it's very ingrained in the music and the culture and the people, as well as like the economic conditions and like the misadvantages and disadvantages. And so it's just like in that culture, getting bitches, having women that like you, it's just like the validating thing. Whereas being soft is it's very, very dangerous. And then so people's perceptions of homosexuals is that they don't get women and that they're very soft. So people are just immediately fearful, and it's just like it comes from the ignorance, And so the thing with the phrase no homo though is that like it's just a symptom. That's so cool. It's just a symptom of like this underlying problem of like fearing and appearing vulnerable. And so even if like we remove that phrase, like phrases are just generated by culture. So it's like in the consciousness, like another phrase will crop up doing the same thing, So it's like you can attack the phrase and be like change the phrase, but that's just like that's like water coming out of a spout. It's like where the water's coming from. Just don't like the water coming out of the spout. So you gotta change the plumbing. You gotta change you gotta take away the need to be so defensive in a community. And then people will stop fearing that they're looking like
Okay.
homo.
What do you think can be done to stop the usage of this phrase? So starting from, do you think it should start from the top or from the bottom up?
Well, what's at the top?
Government, censorship,
Okay, and what's at the bottom?
people. you and I having a conversation.
Cool.
Which one do you think it should start with?
Well, I think we already started with the bottom one because we're not in government. We're having a conversation. But I feel like it's a cultural thing that comes from people perceiving the need to defend themselves. So if you just start loving people more and accepting people more, they don't feel the need to be defensive, and then phrases like that seem out of place.
Do you guys have any gay or lesbian friends?
I do.
Yes.
Start with one at a time. Both of you.
Yes.
We are homosexual.
So what do you guys think about the usage of rap music? The usage of no homo and rap music.
It's obnoxious and unnecessary.
Could you elaborate?
I think it comes from a place of insecurity about the artist's own masculinity.
I was gonna say, like, we're at least in high school, I have a lot of friends who like were on the basketball team, on the soccer team, whatever, and they like actually did rap, which is weird to think about now. But they say no homo all the time, as they like touch each other's butts and like pretend to kiss them and do things like that. And it's like a way for them to give themselves permission to do, like, I guess slightly erotic things that they feel uncomfortable about. Whereas if they didn't say no homo, nobody would think they were homosexual, because we know they're not. So I don't.
And the fact that people feel it's necessary to put a disclaimer on their actions that might be slightly homoerotic just assumes that homosexuality is inappropriate,
Right.
and is a negative thing, which it's not, in my
Well, when you
opinion.
look at people from different cultures, like we were talking to our capoeira teacher is Portuguese, and like they kiss each other on the cheek, and like that's just the way you greet people, and nobody assumes that they are homosexual, whether or not that would be a bad thing or a good thing. Like people just have different ways of interacting with each other. It doesn't have to be the straight way of doing things. That's a conception of what straight is.
So do you guys think you'll be able to help us mobilize this issue and kind of spread awareness about how this is a hurtful term?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's important for people to take personal responsibility both for what they support and what they listen to.
Yeah, just it's not even telling people to stop saying it, but what are you doing by allowing people to say it or let it become the norm?
See how you could go from being Joe Blow to everybody on your dick, no homo. I bought my whole family whips, no Vovos. Next time I'm in church, please, no photos. Police escorts, everybody passports. This the life that everybody asks for. This a fast life, we are on a crash course. What you think I rap